Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good
Morning.
morning.
Good morning. Hi,
Morning.
have you heard from Chair Kassaw? Because I know I want to be respectful of people's time and I want to go ahead and start the meeting. Do you know if he's getting on? I don't have his information, his personal contact information.
So
I
I've
don't.
not heard from him, but I am happy to send him a Teams if you would
Okay.
like.
Yes, if you
Absolutely.
could, and then I, just being the vice chair, I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting if that's okay with Councilman Murillo, because it is
Yeah, I
8:30.
also want to be
Okay.
respectful of people's time. I support that.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Murillo. I'm Councilmember Angela Lawson. I'm the Vice Chair of the Housing Committee, and I'm serving with Councilmember Murillo, who has had abundance of experience. So I look forward to serving with her on this committee this year. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Approval of the minutes, Councilmember Murillo. Do you approve the minutes of July 17th, 2024?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I do as well. Three, any announcements? Okay, I hear silence. Okay, we'll move forward. New items. Okay, I'm going to move forward. So we're going to move forward to agenda item 4A, the Civic Engagement Commission status. And who's presenting on that item?
I am.
Okay.
Hello,
Hi,
good morning.
Jesse. Good morning.
Hello, Vice Chair Lawson. Thank you for having me.
Uh-huh.
I'm very glad to be here to present on the Civic Engagement Commission. Let me just share my screen for a second. Can everybody see that okay?
It's a little small, but I have it in my packet, so.
Okay, great.
Same here.
Okay, thank you. I just want to outline, as many of you are aware, the Civic Engagement Commission was developed a few years back to be able to provide an opportunity for leaders in the community to provide feedback on a range of needs within Aurora's diverse communities. When I joined the City of Aurora as an employee in August, I started attending several of their meetings, and as what I witnessed was a commission that had a stagnant membership in terms of a declining number of members that were in attendance. There was some issues with them being able to meet quorum, to be able to address certain topics within their agendas. There was also some challenges around kind of the clarity and purpose of the group, what their scope should be. A lot of members had differing views on should it be in a primary advisement role on community topics, with others that wanted to actively develop certain initiatives and events within the community that promoted civic engagement amongst residents throughout Aurora. And so I had also discussed with them how they plan on being able to recruit new members and clarify their scope and their purpose. As each meeting went by every month, the memberships continued to decline. We had several members that were supposedly a part of the commission, but were only really on an email list. They were not active. That was another issue that occurred, was just highly inactive members. And so I worked with their two civic engagement leaders, Emma and Glenn, to be able to start to identify what is really some strategies that could be pursued to help increase membership, retain members, clarify their goals, and really set some new strategies going forward that spoke to the reason why they got involved to begin with. And there is also really a question in the air around should the Civic Engagement Commission continue or be disbanded, because as we speak, as of today, there's really only these two active members. And so there was a conversation on whether there should be a proposal that was sent to City Council asking for them to weigh in on whether the Civic Engagement Commission should disband or not. Emma and Glenn have both agreed to be the chair and vice chair of the commission. And so they would like to see the commission continue. That was their recommendation. So we as a staff started really working on developing more of those strategies. We've had several planning sessions over the past couple months. And so some strategies that we would like to pursue going forward is clarifying the mission and purpose and scope of the Civic Engagement Commission, engaging more frequently with sponsoring city council members of the commission to provide updates and invite them to meetings so they get to meet more of the members. Really thinking about how do we not just put up flyers to spread the word that we're looking for new members, but to really develop what we would call an asset mapping exercise where we can work with city clerk's office. We can also work with the active members within the Civic Engagement Commission, maybe even some of our city council members, to really go through the contacts and networks that people have and identify if there's some targeted outreach that we could do. Other targeted outreach strategies could include working with businesses and going to businesses to see if they have any of their employees who are leaders in the community that would see value in participating in the Civic Engagement Commission. And then creating a better onboarding experience for newer members. We're also simultaneously reaching out to those that are inactive and clarifying if they would like to continue, and also specifying that in the bylaws it states that in order to be an active member, they need to have 80% participation in the meetings throughout the year. Those members have signaled that they are not interested in continuing because they've not been able to have the capacity or time to participate over this past year. So we're clarifying expectations both of inactive members and potential new ones in the future. And then finally, really identifying some strategies and types of topics that are of interest to the civic engagement members, and really thinking about what this upcoming year will look like and how we can create the most meaningful experience within the Civic Engagement Commission. This all happens simultaneously while we are aware that there was some recent mention in I believe in a study session in November by City Council that there seems to be a similar trend with other types of boards and commissions across the city of Aurora. And so we're bringing this topic to Horns today for feedback and input. Some of the questions that we're looking to answer is, A, is there support from City Council in terms of us pursuing these strategies, essentially trying to revive the Civic Engagement Commission? Are there ways that we can get additional support in identifying different groups or individuals that we could spread the word to and be able to recruit as active members onto the commission? And is there any other recommendations or feedback on how the City Council feels we could help better support the Civic Engagement Commission so by this time next year, they have a full membership roster, a strong leadership, newer members, and really clear focus going forward on how we want to conduct our work and what is meaningful engagement from a civic standpoint. So I'll just leave those questions there and take a pause and answer any questions that anyone else might have.
Okay, thank you, Jesse, so much for that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Chair Lawson, can I just add one little thing?
Sure.
We are also cognizant of the conversation that happened at study session, I think, in December, related to just taking a look overall at all the boards and commissions. And so we will be attending PR Plus to just kind of hear that discussion, but just wanted to know that, you know, we're cognizant of that and how that plays into this overall discussion.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. Councilmember Murillo, do you want to start with any questions or concerns or recommendations that you may have based on Jesse's presentation?
Yes, thanks, Vice Chair Lawson. Yeah, I guess I just have questions. My first thought was, okay, if there's concerns about this commission, like personally, I think it has great potential. But I think it also, if it's not working, it's not working. So I think it's healthy to do a review overall of all the boards and commissions. I think I'm curious, my question, I guess, about this commission is, are there anything in the bylaws around how many missed meetings? Because I think like we shouldn't be waiting till like the end to be like, oh, there's only 2 active members. Like that should be a regular thing that all of our commissions do to clean up and clarify who's part of it. I think that's a pretty regular thing that these types of commissions do. So I want to know if there's anything in the bylaws to clarify that. If we do move forward, if it's not in there, that would be my recommendation, is that there's some sort of outline if it's a bylaw or rule, that this, we're not waiting till everyone's not active, that we're actively cleaning it up as we go. So I'll pause there. I have a few more thoughts, but don't want to inundate until I'll wait for an answer. If that's okay, Councilmember Lawson.
Oh, of course, Councilmember Murillo, that's fine. Go ahead. Jesse, can you address Councilmember Murillo's questions?
Yes, thank you, Council Member Murillo. There's no language within the bylaws that would signal or clarify at what point the commission needs to take a review of its attendance or lack thereof. And so that is something that we could look at as a possible interim step to be able to help the commission clarify what it needs to do in order to clean up some of its process. I would also say that we're well positioned to do so currently because there is just a extensive discussion on what type of issues are occurring and what strategies would address those. And that would likely help inform what language in the bylaws would be able to address the issues that you're describing, and I am as well.
Councilmember Murillo, did you have further questions and comments?
I do. Thank you for that
Okay.
answer. And I'm the chair of the PR Plus committee, so that, just as a heads up, would be my question for all of the commissions. There should be a mechanism. I understand if it's not there now, but I just think that's good practice and good process. After X number of missed meetings, or not, contact and not hearing back, some sort of mechanism that way. But I guess my overall thoughts is I'm open to giving X number of months, not like an indefinite amount of period, to try to recruit for the commission, especially just knowing that other commissions ebb and flow with attendance, and a new commission is going to be it's going to require a little bit of time to get going. I do think, though, before we do that, we need to be really clear about the purpose of this commission. I wouldn't join if I was confused about what we were doing, frankly. So I think that would be my opinion, and I'm open to staff's recommendation on recruitment, but my ask is we clarify the purpose in advance of that recruitment phase. That's all. Thank you, Councilmember Lawson.
Okay. Thank you, Jesse. So I'm going to go into my few questions and then concerns as well. I agree with what Councilmember Murillo has said. This civic engagement is dear to my heart. I started the academies. To me, they were very successful. I kind of backed up and let it go because I was very involved with the academies in general, and they were very successful. In fact, we have a lot of people who are in public office, who are, in our city in various ways, leadership positions, advocating in different ways because of the civic engagement academies. I wasn't happy with the direction of that. I know things have to change, so I kind of put this onto the commission. Council Member Coombs and I discussed it, and I thought it was a fabulous idea, and I still do. I guess my first question before I continue with my comment, Jesse, is how many hours of city staff is utilized in going to these commissions every month? Because I know that there's a monthly meeting. I wish I could attend. I can't, attend, but I do feel like maybe it would be good, but for me to attend and others as well. But how many staff hours is it for you to be invested into this commission?
Thank you, Vice Chair Lawson. Those are great questions. And I'm actually going to combine both of those topics because they're related, the Civic Engagement Academy, as well as the staff time. So the staff time is pretty significant. We typically have myself in attendance because I have a background in working with boards and commissions. And so I've been attending a lot of their meetings to help strategize and identify the issues that we're discussing here, as well as my staff, John Harris, who is there. We have an admin at times. So I would say on average, we probably have at least 2 staff that are spending around 2 to 3 hours on those monthly meetings. And then probably 1 to 2 hours per week on average, just supporting the Civic Engagement Commission members, answering questions they have, helping them with strategies, helping them with information and other resources. And that is also tied to the Civic Engagement Commission. I just want to share with you that the Civic Engagement Academy has actually gone very well. And we actually have plans on how to develop and expand it this upcoming year. We're really excited about that. However, I will say that it is primarily staff developed and staff led. The Civic Engagement Commission members have given feedback on what they would like to see. But in terms of the heavy lifting of going out and recruiting members to participate, developing the program, the scheduling, that is quite a time-intensive project, and one that we continue to see really big value in. However, it is primarily staff time that goes to supporting that, which makes sense if you think about that the Civic Engagement Commission only has 2 active members, so they don't even really have the capacity to have as much of a hands-on approach as we would probably like to see. And in terms of attendance of any city council members, particularly yourself, we welcome attendance at any point. Both Emma and Glenn wanted to be here today, but they're in their regular 9 to 5 jobs, and they've also expressed a desire to see city council members attend and can connect with them where possible.
Yeah, and Jesse, just to continue, you probably know a little bit of the background. I was heavily invested in the Civic Engagement Academy. I mean, I was kind of formulating some of the, the courses, course with city staff. So I was really part of that. And I really found value in that. I let it go because I said, well, the commission, I'm not going to be here forever. So it needs to be, so I really heavily let it go. I didn't really want to. I'm still invested into it because I think it's a very important, we need to have civic engagement. I think it's really, really important. But I had to let it go and I put it into the commission's hands. So I'm a little disappointed that it hasn't evolved. And I'm willing to, I don't want to, I think the commission is a good idea, but the staff time and all of that, that's what the concern to me. And I know that's going to be the concern of a lot of my colleagues. So for me, what I would like to do is maybe we push this over. I know it's going to go to PR Plus, Councilmember Murillo, but I do think that I don't want to cancel it. But do you think that there's a time frame, maybe like 5 months, 6 months, half a year, where the commission could get together, where we could establish all of the things that you mentioned and see where we're at and decide if eventually, if it's not working, then maybe we should go a different direction or maybe not have the commission at all. I don't know, Councilman Murillo, what's your thoughts on that? I'm just giving a time frame where they can kind of establish. I just don't want to get rid of the commission, but I also value the time of the city staff as well. So that's where I'm having some confliction. So. Councilman Maria, do you want to move this forward to this? I guess the question is, I know the issue is coming to PR Plus and you're the chair of that, but do you want to move this forward maybe for the study session to have maybe the commission come forward to explain, or do you want to try to see if we can remedy some things here?
Yeah, I think we're on the same page, Councilmember Lawson, as far as
Okay.
like balancing the
Mhm.
competing needs. I am okay with that timeline unless city staff have another recommendation.
Right.
Frankly, that I think we're both just trying to like add some clarity and like some specificity, because if we are like if we're not clear about where we're measuring that success and effort, then it's just not going to happen, So I'm comfortable with 6 months, or I'm comfortable with 6 months, Councilmember Lawson, to see if we can implement some of these strategies. One thought I was thinking about as you were talking was, do we advertise this commission to maybe applicants of other commissions that maybe didn't get appointed? Because that's also a thing, is we have people who want to step up, but at the end of the day, city council has to appoint them. And if they don't, it's unfortunate, but that's just how the process goes. But they applied, they have energy, they have time. Maybe this is a perfect home for that energy if they didn't get a different commission for one reason or another.
So Jesse, if you could address that question, and then do you think, And I really want to get tell me a response of, would 6 months be, recommendable to you to maybe see if this could get a little bit better. The commission can maybe establish some of the guidelines that you presented in your presentation as well.
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Murillo, and thank you, Vice Chair Lawson. So we have spent, a couple months, and we now are pretty clear on what the strategies are. We've also echoed what Councilmember Murillo mentioned a moment ago around purpose. We've gotten pretty clear on what the purpose and the scope is. So now it's kind of, can we take what's on paper and really start implementing those strategies, whether it's around changes in the bylaws, clarifying the purpose for new members, orientation, recruitment. I love the idea of kind of thinking about other commissions and other kinds of groups that we can recruit from, because that's the headspace that we're in, of thinking about who can work with us to help with recruitment. I think 6 months is a good runway for us. If council is comfortable with that, we would start developing outreach and strategies to recruit members with a clarified purpose, as we're saying here. I think my only reservation would be, I guess it's if we were successful in those 6 months in recruiting more people, became a more active commission, then I would imagine that we would just continue on to build on that. If it's not successful, then I'm hearing that maybe that would go to council to determine whether the commission continues or whatever that future might be. So 6 months does feel, I think, comfortable for us to be able to at least see some preliminary results from the strategies that we're trying to pursue.
Yeah, that would be my proposal. Again, I have to get Councilmember Murillo, we have to have a vote on it, but I mean, well, to approve that, but that would be my recommendation. And Councilmember Murillo, would you be willing to go with this proposal and then have them come back? I guess 6 months would be like July. Would that be July timeframe?
I believe so.
That sounds,
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. Yeah, I
Okay.
support your proposal, Councilmember Lawson.
Okay, so Jesse, let's move forward with that, and then let's see how it develops in the 6 months and then come back. I don't really want to give it over to council right now. I really want to see if there's some progress and some measurements and some success that we could possibly do to keep the commission, because I really do see value. I really do. So.
I
Y'all are
appreciate
welcome
that.
to come to my town hall in the future.
And mine too.
Yeah, I have one next Thursday if you want to make a plug, or have one of the current staff that's already there make a pitch. We're doing some heavy recruitment for it, so that would be a really, I think, good audience for that.
Thank you, Councilmember Murillo. And Vice Chair Lawson, we appreciate that. We'll take you up on that offer. And Vice Chair Lawson, if I can just make one last point, I just want to make sure that I'm communicating clearly. Like the Civic Engagement Academy has been very successful, and
Okay.
it is evolving. We're actually looking at including some youth components, which we're pretty excited about.
Okay.
And so it's just that it's primarily staff led. So we got to try to figure out, how do we get more of the members of the Civic Engagement Commission to be able to support, so that it's not just staff led. But candidly, I see the academy continuing and building on, in the future. And we were even doing some goal setting around this as recently as yesterday morning as a staff. So we have some very significant plans around the Civic Engagement Academy. And when the time comes for those to launch, we'll be happy to reach back out to you and see if there's any role that you would like to play in it.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. I would appreciate that. And, I do value the Civic Engagement Academy and the commission. And I will dedicate, again, some time to this, because it is something that I established in the city. It was already established, but I kind of reestablished it again in 2017, and council supported it. So I would be very glad to be part of any conversations, for sure. So,
Terrific.
and I'm
Thank you.
sure Councilmember Coons might as well. So, but you'll have to
Terrific.
ask her.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jesse. I appreciate it. Okay, we're going to go to our next item, and our next item is going to be 2025 Horns Planning. Jessica.
Good morning, everyone. And we, Councilmember Kassaw had confirmed this meeting, so we will follow up with him as well to get any of his thoughts and ideas. we thought with new members of the committee and just kind of revamping a little bit from last year, we met as staff and tried to program into this sheet you see up on the screen, just the routine things that we bring to Horns, the programs that are ongoing that we need council approval for, and then also some of the initiatives that we know are coming this year. So we tried to slate them into the months that we thought that they would be coming, and just kind of, to highlight a few. Andrew, if you want to just go back up there. We know, especially for Councilmember Kassaw and wanting to do a housing strategy update from 2024. We are on our 5-year cycle with HUD. So this is the year we would do our consolidated plan, our analysis of impediments. This is essentially how we're going to spend HUD funds for the next 5 years, which we also want to be fully integrated into our housing strategy. We're coming up on the 5th year of our housing strategy, which is exciting. So updating that as well. Obviously, routine updates on the homeless navigation campus, on our youth violence program and how that is going. A new item, obviously, that you all have heard about is the neglect and derelict building code. So we would bring that to Horns first. Another new one, we did do an update with all of council on opioid funds. We've seen some additional funds come in, and so we want to make sure those are programmed in a way that aligns and is strategic. Some of these other ones are community investment financing rounds. We bring those to council twice a year as well, and just some other things like that. So we tried to program in what we thought would be coming in what time of year. So we are looking for any feedback from you all on, I'd love to hear about that. Could you move it up 2 months? And we'll see if we can do that or not, just based on timing with policies and programs. And then we'd love to hear anything else that you would like to see brought to the Horns Committee in 2025. We'll check in again in the summer. Obviously, we just added an item for July, so we'll add that in. But this will be sort of our planning document for the year, wherein we can add things to it. So I will stop there. We just met on Monday, so we didn't get it in the packet. And then the other things that I want to bring up besides this is just confirmation of day and time working for you all, and confirmation if you want to continue virtually, or if you'd rather have in person every time, in person every other month, kind of what your thoughts are there. This time does not conflict with any other board and commission that we know, or other council policy committee at this point. It's always kind of a game of Tetris to figure out what time doesn't conflict with other policy committees and what works for you all in your work and personal schedules. So those are just 2 other questions I have, and I will stop there.
Okay, Councilmember Murillo, do you have any questions? I mean, you've been on this committee for and been the chair of this committee for many, many years. I'm fairly new. I've been on it a previous year, but do you have any questions about or any additions you want to add to the agenda tracker for 2025 and to address Jessica's questions about the time and the date? I know we have to, Chair Kassaw is the chair of this, so I definitely you would have to review with him, but Councilmember Murillo as well.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I think this all feels pretty standard. I would, so I don't have anything specific to add at this time, but as things come up, I do appreciate the opportunity to be flexible and add that as things come up. I would say, as far as the derelict building code, would love to get a little bit more information on what kind of the goals are, and it doesn't have to be today. We can touch base offline because, we've been following what's been going on with the apartments in Ward 1. There's been not just this owner of these buildings, but several other buildings that are older that seem to pass code, but an average layperson would not agree that that's a habitable place to live. And I want to make sure that I'm clear on that presentation. But other than that, I'm invested in making sure that we have, safe, livable places for people to live. Yeah, but other than that, that all looks pretty routine. I would just also ask, like, if in advance, if we only have one item, if we could just be, I also want to be mindful of our council members' time, staff time. If there's a meeting with one item for 15 minutes, if it's possible to add it to a separate meeting and just cancel that meeting, I guess that's my personal opinion. I don't know how you feel, Councilmember Lawson, but it feels like a lot of effort to convene for 15 minutes. So if we could just be mindful of that, I understand that that's the chair's role ultimately, but I know he's also new, so that would be my recommendation if and when y'all have a conversation with Chair Kassaw.
Yeah, and for the time, I think Councilmember Murillo, that would be great if there's only one item and it's only going to take 15 minutes, we could just add it to the next agenda. That would be great, unless it's something that we do need to, vote upon or move forward to the city council or study session, anything like that. I'm fine with this, with what we're going to be talking about in the upcoming year. Jessica and Councilmember Murillo, because I'm still fairly new to this, how this committee runs. Some of these things, and I'm not trying to bring any type of legislative items, but are there things, do you guys talk a little bit about when we're talking about some of the issues regarding maybe housing? Do you bring up some of the legislation? Does Liz come to the meetings? Is there an update with that might have a nexus to what the topic is? Just curious on that. Jessica?
Sure. So we have not done direct legislative updates at this committee. However, as we're thinking about topic specific things, I do think they will be integrated. Obviously, the updates to the UDO, which is in the housing strategy, that will also go to PED, but that has legislative. Obviously, the derelict and neglected buildings will have a nexus there. If there are other pieces like mobile home legislation that I've seen coming through. So if there's things that are going to have kind of a nexus to our housing strategy, I do think it makes sense to bring them here. So,
Okay.
We can sort of see how that goes as the different housing bills start dropping for the session, and maybe in February or March, we can just put a placeholder on the agenda for that to see how it sort of integrates.
Yeah,
that
that
might
would
work.
be-
And Liz has attended this. in the
Okay,
past.
I think that would be good. I mean, I'm glad that that's happening because even for our new council member, the chair, that would be important. But I do think, although these are standalone topics, there is some legislative, things that matter within them. So I would like to make sure that whenever that is required, that we could have those updates that actually have any kind of relation to any of these topics. So if that would be something, Councilmember Murillo, would you be good with that?
Yeah, and I believe you're again the Pfizer chair
Yeah.
this year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and a longtime chair of the Pfizer committee. I think that would be helpful to just get at updates on those intersections. We haven't traditionally done that, and
Mhm.
I'm not opposed to having more information than less. And I know that formal positions won't be taken in this committee, but
Right.
I don't see any harm in sharing information. I think that's generally good practice and good process. So absolutely.
Okay, and I'm good with the time that we have, the time and date. So I'm good with this time and date. I think it works perfectly. Again, if there's just one agenda item that's only going to take 10 or 15 minutes, let's move it to the next meeting. That would be my recommendation. Again, Chair Kassaw would have to, he's the chair, so I want to be respectful to his decision and leadership as well. So, okay.
The date
so
and
that-
time work for me as well.
Okay, so it works for both of us. So you just update us, um, with what Chair Kassaw would like to do, and then we can maybe, if it doesn't work for us, we can definitely have that discussion. So we'll move on to the next topic, miscellaneous matters for consideration. Councilmember Murillo, before I go to city staff, do you have any miscellaneous matters for consideration that we need to discuss?
Not at this time.
Okay, I don't either. Jessica or anybody on this, do you have any miscellaneous matters that we need to discuss beyond what is on the agenda?
I do not.
Okay, 5A, updates from community members. I don't know how this works. Is there a list of community members that give updates?
So, Vice Chair Lawson, we do have a list of community members that do receive the agenda.
Okay.
And obviously it's posted publicly as well. Usually if there is anyone, they will be brought in as sort of an attendee. And then if they're interested in speaking, then we would elevate them. Or I forget exactly what the terminology is in Teams, but it looks like we have one person on the phone.
Okay.
Everybody else I'm looking at that's attending looks like city staff to me. So I guess
Okay.
you would just ask if that person is a staff member or is a community member that had any comments.
And if that member could state their name, be recognized, what organization they're with, that would be great for us as the committee and for the public as well. Are they able to log in?
They're on and they should
Okay.
be able to unmute. Andrew, can you verify that?
I did ensure
Okay.
microphone access, yes.
Okay, so they may just not want to share anything, or maybe it's a staff member, it's hard to tell.
Okay.
And yeah, we've also in the past asked external folks to put their information in the chat if they're attending. So however you want to do it, I would say, unless we have, sometimes if we have items where we're doing funding or, you know, things that the community is pretty closely following, we may have some folks join, but typically I don't think we have many community members join.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that clarification and how that works. So if we don't have any updates from community members, Councilmember Murillo, do you have anything to state before we adjourn?
Just that I look forward to serving with you on this committee and our new appointed council member. I know there's probably some issues with him just being sworn in on Monday, so I'm sure we'll get that figured out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a productive year with you all.
Yeah, me too as well, Councilman Murillo, and looking forward to working with Chair Kassaw as well and all of the city staff. So thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a fantastic day today. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.